Have you ever had this happen? You are washing dishes or scrolling your phone, and suddenly someone's face appears in your mind. You feel them for a second. Maybe you even have a small conversation in your head. You put the phone down and it lights up. It is them, a message, a call, or you are going about your day and your chest feels heavy for no reason. An hour later, you discover that the person you love was having a breakdown at the exact same time. Most people file this under coincidence, or they say, "I am just oversensitive." But a question remains quietly inside. How is it that I somehow knew? Why does my body respond to someone else's life like that? Why can I feel their distance, their silence, their anger, even before words arrive? In physics, there is a strange rule called quantum entanglement. On the surface, it has nothing to do with romance or family or friendship. It is about tiny particles. But if you listen carefully, it also reveals something profound about how we are wired to each other. In the quantum world, when two particles interact, they become linked in a mysterious way. They share a state, even if you separate them by a large distance. If you change one, the other responds instantly, not through a signal traveling through space in the usual way, but by some deep shared connection underneath space itself. It is as if they are no longer two completely separate things. They are part of one system. Now, I am not saying that your ex is literally a subatomic particle and you can flip their mood like a switch in a lab. Life is more complex than that, but the pattern is meaningful. When you bond deeply with someone, your energy, your habits, your nervous systems, your emotional patterns, all begin to interact in repeated loops. Over time, you form what I like to call an energy blueprint together. You are no longer just you, and they are no longer just them. There is a third thing that is created, a shared field. You can feel this shared field in very ordinary moments. You walk into a room, and without anybody speaking, you know if there has been a fight. You sit next to your partner, and you can tell immediately if they are open or closed, even if their words say, "I am fine." You have a friend who always makes you feel calmer when you talk, and another who always leaves you drained. This is not imagination, it is sensitivity to the shared field. Here is where the problem begins. Most of us try to fix relationships at the level of words and arguments. We treat relationships like mechanical objects. If I move this piece and say the right sentence, they will change. So we push, explain, beg, accuse, defend. We say, "I need you to listen. I need you to understand. I need you to stop doing this." But on the inside, our own state is still jagged, defensive, full of fear and old pain. Think again about entangled particles. If they are part of one system, you cannot change the overall pattern by attacking the other half. You tune the system by changing your own state. In physics language, you shift your particle. In emotional language, you shift your frequency. Imagine a couple who always fights about the same thing. It could be money, it could be time, it could be feeling unseen. The script is almost predictable. One person raises their voice, the other shuts down. Old wounds wake up. The argument is different on the surface each time, but underneath, the shared field is the same. It is full of fear of abandonment, or fear of being controlled, or fear of being not enough. That is the level of the entanglement. Now picture one of them deciding to become a relationship engineer, not by manipulating the other person, but by working directly with their own internal state before the conversation even begins. They pause when the familiar tension rises. They do not send the angry message immediately. They step away, breathe, hand on heart. They ask themselves, what is my energy right now? Am I about to enter this conversation from fear or from clarity? They begin to regulate their nervous system. They slow their breath. They allow their shoulders to relax. They remember that the person in front of them is not the enemy, even if it feels like it in the moment. They bring a small amount of compassion into the chest, not necessarily for the other person at first, but for themselves. I am hurting. I want to be seen. I want to be safe. From this softened place, their words naturally come out differently. They are less sharp, less accusing, more honest. When one person changes their internal state in a deep and consistent way, the shared field cannot stay exactly the same. The other person might not transform overnight, but the dynamics begin to shift. Maybe the fight that usually lasts 3 hours now loses energy after 30 minutes. Maybe the partner who always slams the door suddenly pauses, confused, because they do not feel the same attack coming from the other side. Maybe after many small iterations, the relationship settles into a new pattern, or it becomes clear, without drama, that it is time to part. This is relationship entanglement in everyday language, not magic, not fate, a system that reorganizes itself when one of its parts truly changes. The unconscious way is to keep trying to bend the other person into a different shape while staying exactly the same yourself. We say, if you change, we will be fine. If you stop doing this, I will finally relax. But in entangled systems, waiting for the other to go first is a way of staying stuck. It is like staring at one particle and begging it to move while you keep yours frozen in place. The awakened way is different. It accepts a hard but liberating truth. You cannot engineer another person's consciousness. You can only engineer your own. And because you are wired into a shared field with them, your shift will eventually show up as pressure, invitation, or clarity in that field. This does not mean tolerating abuse. It does not mean spiritually bypassing problems. It means recognizing where your real leverage is. Before you send the message, before you walk into the room, before you have the talk, you attend to the architecture inside. You notice the story you are running. You feel the tightness in your chest. You become honest about the fear under the anger. Maybe the fear is, if they leave, I will be alone. Maybe it is, if I speak truth, I will lose control. You breathe with that fear without attacking the other person with it. In that moment, you are changing the state of your particle. You are updating your energy blueprint. From there, the words that come out of your mouth are not the same. The small choices you make are not the same. You might set a boundary more calmly. You might apologize for your own pattern, not for their reaction. You might step back from saving them and focus on stabilizing yourself. Each of these moves sends new information into the shared field. Over time, one of two things tends to happen. Either the relationship gradually rises to match your new state, or it becomes very clear that your paths are diverging. In both cases, you are not a victim of random chaos. You are a conscious participant in the evolution of the connection. So what does quantum entanglement mean for your relationships in practical terms? It means this. Stop building your life around trying to change them. Stop believing that one more argument, one more lecture, one more perfect sentence will finally fix the pattern. Your real power lies in changing your own frequency. The next time you feel the familiar trigger, treat it as a lab moment. Do not go straight into reaction. Pause. Place a hand on your chest. Feel your breath. Ask yourself, what field am I about to feed into this relationship? Chaos or coherence? Fear or clarity? Attack or honesty? You may still choose to speak firmly. You may still walk away from something unhealthy. But now those choices come from an engineered state, not from an explosion. You are not powerless. You are not doomed to repeat the same story forever. You are wired into the people you love, and sometimes into the people you struggle with. This wiring is not a curse. It is an invitation to grow. Every time you tune your own particle, the field between you changes a little. Every time you choose awareness over automatic reaction, the entanglement rearranges itself around your new state. That does not guarantee a fairy tale ending, but it does guarantee that you are living as an awake engineer of connection, rather than a passenger in someone else's storm. You do not have to fix them. You do not have to fix the whole relationship in one night. You just have to take responsibility for the piece of the system that lives inside your skin. And from there, quietly, over time, the physics of your relationships will begin to shift.